Good morning. This is my weekly video about healthcare recruiting. This week, I'm going to specifically talk about physician leadership talent. It's the area that we've been doing a lot of work on, and I have some organizations that I partner with as well. Um, there's really kind of three areas that we look at that are part of the process when we're working with an organization. There's the actual recruitment side, so the developing uh, the value proposition and the why for the role. It's really important, right? Because leaders don't move for the sake of moving. They will move for a project. They'll move for career growth um, and things like that. So being able to understand and identify why somebody would want the job and specifically what that value is going to look like will determine your communication with candidates and determine your advertising if you advertise. Um, I do a lot of targeted outreach, so really needing to understand kind of what we're looking for and why someone would be interested in the job is important because I've found over the last year that if you send 100 emails and the content's not engaging and not directly um, tied into that person and why they would want that role, it falls on deaf ears, right? And the response rate for cold email campaigns is probably less than 1%. So if you really want to value your time, it's about building relationships and almost like being a career coach, right? So that you know that Dr. Smith is interested in a leadership role and wants to become the medical director. So part of it is, you know, building that relationship so that when the timing is right, you're there to facilitate going from a clinical role to a medical director role, or from a corporate role to a larger corporate role and stuff like that. It's really important, right? So I have a Facebook group that I'm using called the Physician Leadership Network. I've got my Physicians Who Lead podcast, and part of those are self-serving and trying to get my name out there. But the other piece is, and the more important piece is building a relationship with people so that you have people to refer jobs to, and people that will refer jobs and clients and physicians and people to you, so that it is a discussion and not just hey, I've got this job, right? If I look back at most of the placements I made last year, one client, we hired 3 or 4 physicians with them, and in each scenario, it was they were looking for something different. And I just so happened to be able to lead them in the right direction to find that something different, right? So it's really almost like a reverse process where you need to understand the candidates and then align that with the clients that provide them what they want. You're not, when in a candidate scarce environment, you're not going to convince someone to move uh, because you want them to, right? Like that's a naive stance. So it's really about um, ensuring that there's a reason for it and a progression. And sometimes it might be a personal reason, like someone wants to move to Philadelphia, um, or they want to move to Florida, or they want to move to Alberta, right? It might be that. So it's really understanding the whys. The second part of the process is really kind of looking at an assessment. And assessments kind of get a good and a bad name depending on who you're talking to. Some people view an assessment as an opportunity to screen out candidates, and I don't. I look at it as an opportunity to identify the style and the characteristics of the individual that you're going to hire, right? So it's more of a step one of the onboarding process. And I usually encourage that our clients do an assessment on the top candidate that they want, not a top 3 candidates, and then compare notes. Sometimes we can do the top 2, depending on the clients, obviously. But usually we try and use it as a tool of understanding the individual, engaging with the individual, and understanding kind of what their leadership style is going to look like and what their work style is going to look like, so that the person that's going to be their leader can understand it and start to build that relationship, right? It's really about building a transition and building a relationship um, that starts moving forward for both people to be successful, right? And then the third aspect, and this is not an aspect I do myself, but I have 3 or 4 coaches that have partnerships with us that they'll do this piece. But it's an onboarding to some degree, but from an external standpoint, where it's a an opportunity for one of our coaches to work with somebody for the first 4 to 6 months and support them as an individual. So it's not like, hey, we want you to do an MHA or an MBA or a leadership course of some sort. It's we want someone to work with you to transition um, into your new role. Help you understand and learn uh, and be a sounding board for challenges as you integrate into a new corporate culture, right? Like, sticking someone into a leadership role without providing them the support to be successful is counterintuitive, right? So when we look at our service, it's really a notion of, define it and engage with the market, and then add a value and quality to the hiring process so that you give yourself every opportunity to lead the process and every opportunity to identify the best leaders. And, you know, it just facilitates more communication, right? And I think during the hiring process, you have to find the happy medium of enough communication that everybody feels comfortable moving forward, not too much that you feel like you're looking for reasons not to hire the person, and not too little so that the person starts the job without really truly understanding the objectives, right? Because usually when leaders are hired, there's a corporate corporate objective, right? Hey, we need someone to help us grow the organization, or we need someone to help us increase physician engagement, right? And a lot of the coaching and stuff that we have worked on as an organization is around engagement, right? Because the better your engagement, the better your retention. The better your retention, the easier it is to hire, right? Because leaders know each other. I talked to a pulmonologist on the West Coast yesterday who knew all about a job that I'm looking at on the East Coast, right? So these are really small groups of people that talk to each other. They train together and then spread out across the world and stuff like that, right? And I found in the years I've been recruiting physicians that a lot of physicians know the residents a year ahead of them and a year behind them. So engagement with physicians is crucial to recruitment, through operational issues and stuff like that, right? So we need to engage the physicians through communication, through providing them the resources and understanding that we're looking at how to engage the best leaders possible. So, if you ever want to listen to my podcast, it's Physicians Who Lead. It's on Spotify. The Physician Leadership Network is my Facebook group. The Physician Leadership Network is specifically just for physicians. The only recruiter and salesperson in there is me, and I'm not trying to sell. It is intended as a safe space for people to talk. There are Canadian and American physicians in there, so gives us the opportunity to talk amongst different systems and compare notes. Because even within Canada, there are multiple systems, multiple payment models, multiple aspects for physicians. So um, you know each one is a bit different. So happy to always chat. So again, it's Kevin Kirkpatrick, Avery Professional Group. You can always reach me at kevin@averyprofessionalgroup.com. Happy to talk about your physician leadership development, physician leadership, and physician recruitment. um, and you'll hopefully have seen this on Facebook, LinkedIn, or my YouTube. Either way, I'm always happy to chat, and I hope you have a great day.